Please welcome Justin to the stage, whose wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his beloved Kansas City Chiefs. I'd like all of you to join me in cheering on Justin as his wish comes true. The floor is yours, Justin. Go get him, baby.
The Buffalo Bills have traded the 28th pick to the Kansas City Chiefs. With the 28th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the back-to-back Super Bowl champions Kansas City Chiefs select Xavier Worthy.
Oh my goodness.
Well, there you have it. Chiefs trade up to the 28th pick in the first round to take Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy. I think a lot of us were a little surprised that the Bills were willing to trade up with the Kansas City Chiefs, especially after they traded the 10th pick in 2017 to the Chiefs, where the Chiefs ended up selecting Patrick Mahomes, which kind of ended up being the bane of the Bills' existence. And then also a few years ago, they traded up above the Bills to take Trent McDuffie, which we all saw that looked like the Bills really wanted Trent McDuffie. So I'm a little shocked that the Bills were willing to trade that pick to the Chiefs, and I was a little shocked at the pick as well. But before we get into the video, I would like to ask you to leave a like so I could reach more Chiefs fans like yourself, and then also subscribe so you'll get access to my upcoming videos. Obviously, we'll be focusing on the draft in the short term, but then in the long term, I'll be coming out with some new videos. And with that, let's get into the video. So with that trade, the Chiefs ended up getting the 28th pick in the first round, which they used to select Xavier Worthy. They also received the 133rd pick in the fourth round from the Bills, and then also the 248th pick in the seventh round from the Bills. And in exchange, the Chiefs gave the 32nd pick in the first round, which in turn the Bills actually used to trade down one spot into the top of the second round with the Carolina Panthers, where the Panthers selected Xavier Legette, who was someone I really liked. And the Bills also received the 95th pick from the Chiefs in the third round and the 221st pick in the seventh round from the Chiefs. So let's take a listen to see what Coach Reid has to say about the Chiefs trading up to pick 28 with the Buffalo Bills to take the really speedy receiver Xavier Worthy out of Texas.
All right. As you saw, we picked Xavier Worthy from Texas, wide receiver. We're glad to have him on board. We think he's a heck of a football player, number one. He does a few different things. He's a good wide receiver and also a good special teams returner, and he'll end up doing both to start things off with. So, and he'll just work into that rotation when we get him, the wide receiver rotation, and with Hollywood and Rasheed and Kels and the other fellows. So it should give Pat another weapon there in which to use. Okay. All right. Well, that time's yours.
Just with the trade up, can you kind of walk us through how that happened?
Yeah. So, we had marked this kid that Xavier, that we wanted him, and we just felt that you start getting down there, somebody might jump us, and pick him up. So, and Brett does a great job with this. He's got a good feel for the people that have interest in that position and that player, and then where he needs to go to attack it.
So I thought he had a few interesting things to say there. So clearly they were worried about someone taking Xavier Worthy. I was thinking that it was a possibility that maybe the Cowboys or someone like the Ravens or the 49ers might take Xavier Worthy. So makes sense that they went up and got him, especially if they think that he's their guy. So let's take a look at what they've got right now in the current wide receiver room. They have 13 wide receivers in total right now. So Xavier Worthy, I think, is going to come in right away and kind of fill in that MVS role, the deep threat. He's going to probably split some time with Justin Watson right away. We know that Andy Reid likes to kind of ease his rookie wide receivers into his offense. They did that with Rashee Rice last year. You didn't really see Rashee Rice getting a ton of snaps right away. You kind of saw it more so maybe 6 to 8 games in, and then he really started to blossom. But Xavier Worthy will most likely come in and mostly be the deep threat receiver, but he did play all over the field at Texas, which is one reason why I think the Chiefs actually targeted Xavier Worthy. I think because of his versatility, not just because of his blazing speed. But right now at the Z, they've got Xavier Worthy and then Justin Watson. These are the guys who I think will probably stick to the depth chart. And then Rashee Rice at the slot receiver. Behind him, probably Sky Moore. Rashee Rice, obviously, we don't know about the suspension just yet. So Sky Moore's probably going to see a little bit more playing time. You might see Xavier Worthy play a bit in the slot there as well. And then also at the X, you'll probably see Hollywood Brown most likely, then mix in some Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney will probably be used more so in like not wildcat, but like a gadget receiver, and he does some other things fairly well. The other thing that I thought was interesting was Andy Reid decided to also say that Xavier Worthy would probably see some time receiving punts and kicks in the special teams, which is another reason why I thought they might look at him. I was a little surprised that they picked him. I thought that maybe he might be there at 32 if they wanted to wait for him, but clearly they didn't want to take that chance. I had a few other receivers that I liked more. As I said, that I kind of like Xavier Legette. I think he does pretty much the similar thing. He's obviously not as fast, but he has more of a possession type receiver. He's very good at contested catches, which is something that Xavier Worthy lacks. And also he's just as versatile as Xavier Worthy is, but I still like the pick. It's obviously a very good fit. He's going to fit in right away with Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown, then also Travis Kelce in there. And to update on what the Chiefs have remaining after picking Xavier Worthy, the day 2 pick Friday, they only have one pick there at pick 64, but day 3 they have a ton of picks. They have 5 total. They have 2 in the 4th round, 2 in the 5th, and then 1 in the 7th. Obviously 2 of those are from the Bills. They get 1 from the Cowboys and 1 as a compensatory pick. It wouldn't shock me at all if the Chiefs decided to move up maybe into the 3rd round using one of those 2 4th round picks to do so, or a 5th round pick. You also got to remember the Chiefs have an extra 3rd round pick next year from the Titans for trading L'Jarius Sneed to them. So if the Chiefs actually trade up into day 2 somewhere, maybe in the 2nd or 3rd round, I see a lot of guys, especially in the 2nd round, that I really like. There's plenty in the 3rd round also that I like, but it'll be interesting to see what the Chiefs do for the remaining of this draft. But now let's focus on what Xavier Worthy actually brings to the Chiefs and what he excels at. So Xavier Worthy had a really productive 3 years at Texas. As you can see, the last season that he had at Texas, his stats are on the screen. All 3 years were very productive. His injury history is not very extensive. He only had an ankle sprain last year, which didn't really set him out of any games, really. It affected him a bit in the Washington game at the end of the year, but the only other injury history he had was he actually broke his hand in 2022, and he apparently played half of the season with a broken hand. So he's a pretty tough guy. When you watch the film, you can see his toughness, which for his size at barely a $170, you wouldn't really expect him being that tough. But that was something kind of Tyreek Hill was like. Tyreek Hill wasn't a very big guy. I'm not saying Xavier Worthy is Tyreek Hill. They're definitely very different players. Tyreek Hill has a lot more lower body strength. Xavier Worthy is a bit more of a stick than Tyreek Hill is. Tyreek Hill has some huge thighs, but Xavier Worthy is a bit taller, and they're about probably the same speed realistically. Tyreek Hill probably has a bit more quickness in short distance, but they're pretty even when it comes to long distance. And you'll see Xavier Worthy being used in all sorts of ways. Like I said, he'll probably be more so the deep threat receiver right away, but you'll see him on some screens here and there, some very quick throws. He has a very extensive route tree, and he'll play multiple positions. You'll see him catching balls out of the backfield sometimes at Texas. You saw him playing in the slot at the X, and then also a lot as the deep threat at the Z receiver. A lot of his highlights kind of remind me a bit of Mecole Hardman, but I think he has a bigger route tree than Mecole Hardman did. For just to use as an example as Chiefs fans, for someone as a reference, his speed when he gets along the border, or if he catches a ball in stride, you see blazing speed. His combine really shows on the field. It does not surprise me at all that he ran the combine that he did. I think it was a 4.21, which broke the record. He had a few drops, but when I was watching his tape, I really didn't think any of them were concentration drops like how the Chiefs were last year. You know, that was a really big deal for Chiefs fans. It really hurt the Chiefs during the regular season. And I was a little surprised also that I thought Quinn Ewers was a little better of a quarterback. There were many throws that he missed Xavier Worthy on. I think Xavier Worthy probably could have had another 150 to 200 yards if he was hit in stride or if there was a more accurate throw from Quinn Ewers. So probably one of his best attributes, which is going to help the Chiefs out a lot if he's going to be that deep threat receiver, is he's got really great ball tracking skills. He's kind of like Willie Mays out there when the ball's thrown up in the air for him. The only concern I might have is what he might be able to do against press coverage. Here in the NFL, these guys are a lot bigger than the college guys. And he's such a thin receiver. I'm worried that if he does go up against press coverage, that if he gets jammed at the line, it might really throw off his route. But if he's not jammed and they give him any kind of cushion, then he's just going to blaze straight by him. You see so many different highlights of him where he's making a corner look slow, and he catches the ball so easily in stride, and he makes the route look like he just ran a 5-yard out route, but it's actually a 40-yard go right down the sideline. So I think coming in to the Chiefs, I think he'll split some time with Justin Watson. He'll get eased into the offense. That's what Andy Reid likes to do with his rookie receivers, like we were talking about. I also think he'll see some time in the slot. He'll split some time with Sky Moore while Rashee Rice is fulfilling his suspension, however many games it is. Hopefully it's not too terribly long for the Chiefs' sake. But I think they'll treat him kind of like how Rashee Rice was treated last season. He won't see a ton of playing time right off the bat, but once he really gets used to the offense, unless he really just instantly it clicks or they need him right away, I think he's just going to see a few simple routes, and then by the time it gets to midseason, he's going to really blossom a bit more, I expect, kind of like Rashee Rice did, and you'll see a more expansive route tree from him. So with it all being said, I think Xavier Worthy is going to be a much needed upgrade over someone like MVS, who they cut in the offseason, and I think he'll be a better receiver than someone like a Justin Watson, who's going to split some time with him early on. I'm intrigued also to see if he is going to be the Chiefs punt and or kick returner. If that's the case, then obviously he's going to fulfill many roles with the Chiefs, and he'll probably see quite a bit of playing time. But I'd like to know what you guys think about the pick. Did you like the pick? Was there someone else that you wanted? Did you think it was a bad idea to trade up with the Bills? Who do you think won that trade? I personally think that it was somewhat of a wash. We'll see. I think obviously it has to play out, but the Chiefs in the past have obviously won those trades over the Bills. So hopefully that continues on for the Chiefs' sake and for our sake as Chiefs fans. So let me know what you think about the pick. I think it was a fairly decent pick. Obviously fulfilled a great need that the Chiefs had. He's going to instantly come in and fit right away. Hopefully the rest of the draft is just as good or better. I'm excited to see what the Chiefs do. And again, thanks you for watching the video, taking your time out of your day to give me a listen. And as always, go Chiefs.